How are y'all? I am Gil.
And I'm Robyn.
And we are here today rocking the love.
Yes, we are. And we hope you are too. So rock the love. And on that little thing down below, let us know who you are, where you are, and what you think of the show. If you have any questions, anything you want us to know, we want to hear it. And push the like button if you like it. And if you don't, tell somebody you don't like to watch us. All right. Go ahead.
All right. We are happy to be here today. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of February, 2022, which happens to be 2-2-2-2. Wow. How did that happen? So we are...
you should be wearing your tutu for the show.
My tutu. Okay. Where is that anyway? Oh, well, I put it somewhere. It's in the garage. So we're talking today about, what's our topic? Love, because this is the month of love, and balanced partnership. Balanced partnership is what we're talking about today. So we are going to explore that a little and have some fun. I did a little research. See, because I decided that since the date is so auspicious with 2222, that I should check it out. So first of all, I looked at what the number 2 means, and then what the number 8 means, since that's what it adds up to. So anybody into numerology out there? And if you're not, we'll try not to bore you.
They want to know if there's pictures of you in the tutu.
There are no photographs, thankfully. I did at one time have photographs of me in a dress at a camp, but that's a long time ago.
That's another show.
That's another show.
Stay tuned for Gil's relationship with himself. Okay, so going back to your numerology.
My numerology. So the way we came up with balanced partnership is that the number 2 is all about bringing cooperation and peace and balance to situations, bringing the feminine and really embracing all of those things. And the number 8 is an achiever and makes things happen. And the number 8 being the number 8 is all about balance as well. And
infinite balance?
Infinite balance. Thank you. That's good. Infinite balance. So.
Well, why are we looking at the number 8?
Because 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 = 8.
Got it.
Don't ask my godson to do that. Okay. All right. So anyway, that's sort of the idea. I just wanted to explore a little bit about balanced partnership, what that is, what it means, and why it's important.
Yes. It is important, right?
It is. It is. And we experience it in our life. Balanced partnership.
Every now and then?
Every now and then, there's a little balance in our relationship. No, I think we do quite well most of the time.
Okay.
So most of the time, one of us chips in to sort of support the process for the other one.
It's true.
And which one of us is
that? Some of us are a little more overworked, right?
So, for example, when I speak, I have Robyn saying, okay, here's an idea. Or she says, okay, let me hear it. Let's go through it. And when she speaks, I say, okay, when you're done writing, just share it with me and I'll tell you what I think. But it's still supportive. It's still a balance of taking care of other things. The other parts that happen is when I'm working on something like that, dinner doesn't become my job. It goes to Robyn and vice versa. Those kinds of things. Just this week, Robyn made it a point to go out and do a couple things that needed to be done, including picking up our godson. And gave me the opportunity to just work on a couple of things I needed to do. And we do that all the time. In our partnership. Now, where else do we have partnership?
Well, before we go to where else we have partnership, because as we've said numerous times, we have partnership with everything, right? With our finances, with our balance, with our body, with our health, with our wellness, all of those things. But let's just stay on us for a minute, or the partnership aspect.
Why? Because you think everyone wants to know more about us?
No, I think they want to explore more about partnership.
Okay. All right, let's go there.
All right. So, how do you have balance in your partnership? It's one thing to just say, "Oh, balance in our partnership," and keep moving. But that's no, I mean, how do you have balance in your partnership? Not ours necessarily, but one's partnership.
I think it's about it's about giving. It's about putting yourself into it. I think where balance starts to fall apart in partnerships is where someone feels like they're doing too much. They're putting too much in. And often that's because we're putting stuff in expecting certain things out. And sometimes in some situations that we have to take that into consideration and go, this isn't very balanced. But other times it's just in our head that it's not balanced. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, but you bring up a good point, even though you don't know it. How do we balance in our head? That's the only place we can come from.
Right.
So if we don't have balance in our life, if I don't feel worthy, or I don't feel enough, or I don't feel blank, fill in the blank for yourself, I can't really be in balance with partnership.
That's absolutely true. Can you read that?
Yes.
That's good. Will you share it?
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining us. She says, "Yep, expectation disrupts the balance."
Yep, because we absolutely we just get on a track. I was thinking about, and this is absolutely a hypothetical situation, but where I might become somewhat agitated and irritated because I'm feeling, I don't know, perhaps a little behind on something, or that I have a list that's too long, or I can't remember what the list is. And then I start expecting my partner in my partnership to somehow either know that that's what's going on, to figure out what to do to fix it, or leave me alone, or whatever it is. And when that doesn't happen, then I feel put upon. Anybody
Right.
ever have that?
It was hypothetical, remember?
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's hypothetical. If that could happen, I can see where that might cause one to be in that situation.
No, but yes. So I mean, so really, once again, we come back to the core of relationship, right? And how we're in relationship to everything on that level, because I can't show up for you if I can't show up for me on some level.
Speaking of that, I found something really interesting about COVID relationships. So we all know that when COVID hit, there was a moment where people had to make decisions about where they were going to be, because basically once you decided to stay in one place, that was your place. So if you lived on your own, then you were going to be on your own for a while. If you lived with your family, you were going to be with your family for a while. If you lived with a roommate, you're going to be with your roommate for a while. Well, some people were in that space of, I'm not sure I want to be alone, and I have this relationship that's somewhat good. Let's put it together. And so people ended up moving in together, and they spent time in their space. And in some cases, people did great. They did fine. They enjoyed each other, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what's interesting is when the restrictions lifted and people started moving around again and going out, because of this idea of knowing balance and knowing everything, they didn't know much about their partner outside of being with them in their own space. And so this partnership became very different. And some people found that they really didn't like the way this person interacted in the world. It didn't fit with the partnership they thought they had. But that, I just bring that up because I think it's interesting that when if we don't have balance in terms of our understanding, of ourselves, of each other, of that stuff, then we run into the possibility of being disappointed, basically.
So once again, we're back to there's only one of us here on some level.
How many?
No, but I'm serious. I mean, it's all roads always come back to us.
Right.
You and really being awake and aware of what serves us on some level.
And perhaps in cases like that, when you say that, perhaps partnerships aren't always designed to last forever. We see that always in jobs we've had, in people we've been in relationship with, even in children. They grow up, they move out, they move on. Things change, and partnerships change and mold and grow over time. And sometimes they serve a purpose, and then we move on to different partnerships. So anyway, that's my thought.
It's a good thought.
I'm glad it's a good thought.
Okay, what else? What else you got there?
What else do I got? You know what? I don't have a lot at the moment until we kind of dive into this thing.
Why are we waiting?
I don't know. I thought maybe we should take a break first and then dive in. What do you think?
All right, let's do it. That's partnership, folks. So you're listening here on New Thought Media Network.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajay, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We are Rockin' the Love on New Thought Media Network.
I'm Robyn,
And I'm Gil.
and we're glad you're here.
And we're glad all of you are here. And I will correct my comment that I sent out. I'm not sure, Michelle, how the delay is affected by things. So I'm sorry we can't help you more with that.
Our producer is shaking his head no, just like I just said to you. No, it doesn't minimize the delay. So you're all good, Michelle. It's all good. Sometimes we're just a little slow on the uptake, or we don't see it because it's hard to multitask. So that's the story. So I just want to say a little something about what we were talking about, because we were speaking about relationships and how you bring yourself into every relationship, and how whatever's going on for you can be either, the deterrent that holds you back, or that propels you forward, right? If you're not feeling good, if you're not feeling well, worthy, or any of those things. And I just want to read you a quote that says, "Life is a process of selecting which story we listen to, which story we edit, and which story we choose to rewrite." And that's by Lori Gottlieb. And I really think that, clearly that's what we do. That's what we do in our relationships, and especially in a partnership like this. I would say that it's constantly being willing to erase the story and rewrite it, and it's like an evil computer, the stuff that you wish wouldn't come back. And yet it pops up somewhere. So I'm just putting that out there as a thought. And I know you had thoughts. So what are we talking about now?
So I think that's really great about the story, and how we perpetuate the story in our lives. I heard a case of someone who was with a spiritual teacher, and she had a very, very awful experience some years ago, and she shared this experience and was like, I don't know how to get over it. I don't know how to forgive. And he said, who else is telling the story? And so the other people in this situation, the ones that she felt hurt by, they weren't telling the story. They were done. They were done with it. It wasn't affecting them at all. The only person was being affected by her story was her telling herself the story. And I think we do that in all places in our lives, and particularly in partnership with someone else. If we come up with a story that about how they treat us or how they don't treat us or whatever it is, that can become my story about it, and it doesn't even necessarily, the other person isn't even in the game.
Well, it's sort of like what I said. We're back to us. We're back to us, which is really disheartening, because I was thinking about
being one is disheartening.
It's a little disheartening right now. I was thinking about, like, in a family situation, I was thinking about at home with our godkids, and how there are times when we want to crawl under the covers and not come out. We're like, oh, why don't they get it? And sometimes I can directly point to us, us, the family. And other times I'm like, no, this isn't us. This isn't us. This is, they just don't get it, but it's, how do you find balance when you do have kids, or in a family, or in a workplace? I guess it's the same. I mean, it's a group of people you have to see every day. If you go into your office and are living in another decade, I don't know how that works anymore, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, there's some basic things in partnership, but one of the things I looked up partnership, and interesting enough, the first thing that comes up is a whole bunch of stuff about how to create your legal partnership, like an LLC and et cetera, and different things about business. So I just pulled a quote what I thought was really interesting, because I think it fits all the way around. A partnership needs to be win-win, a win-win situation for both sides in order for it to be successful. So any partnership we're in needs to somehow serve all the parties involved in it.
Yeah. Okay. But you can take that literally, or you can take it as us good metaphysicians do and know that a win-win is not always a win. Oh, yummy. I feel so good. It can also be us a space for us to perpetuate our thoughts of unworthiness or something in the negative, whatever, something less than.
I was going to say it could be a space where I'm uncomfortable because the winning, if you will, is about being in a partnership where the opportunity for me to grow shows up, where the opportunities for me to shift myself, the opportunities for me to see my blind spots show up. Now, that's not easy. That I may construe that as a lose-lose or a lose-win, but I think in the long run, partnerships that are successful are because we support one another in somehow winning in our life. You think?
I would like to think. Yeah, I would like to think that that's true.
But since you're not winning right now, is that what you're what's going on in that little head of yours?
No, what does that mean? I'm just thinking about what you said.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Michelle, what do you think? John?
Yeah, really?
Courtney, we know you're out there. What do you all think? I mean, partnerships, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking about like partnerships that are driven by money, I guess, and things. I'm thinking like when people go against their ethics or what may be their ethics in order to prosper. Yeah. And maybe it's not. Okay, so here's an example. What I used to have an organization with kids, and we got a donation from the Nancy Reagan Foundation. Well, at the time, we weren't particularly pro Reagan's politics or what they stood for, but we had to make a decision about whether or not to take it or not, based on what we believed and what, and at the end of the day, it came down to, we believed that the kids needed the money that they were going to give, but is, you know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying about a partnership? It's just tricky.
You have to evaluate what kind of partnerships you're in some places. Are you really in partnership or are you working with them? So that's a really good thing. Is it a balanced partnership? So I guess some of the things that show up is one of the things John shares here is that giving is the key in terms of partnership. And so the thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was, how are we giving in our relationships? What's the level of giving? Where are we at with that?
I've been meaning to ask you that. What is your level of giving?
It's low.
It's not true.
It's not true. But it's always a work in progress. It's always an opportunity to look. How am I giving in all my places of partnership? How am I giving in my work as a staff minister at East Bay? How am I giving in my work as a family member here? How am I giving in relation to my grandkids? Am I giving the way I need to be, or am I sitting back expecting something? Am I expecting something and therefore blocking the level of the partnership?
John says, I check to see if I'm truly giving. So how do you do that, John? What are some ways that we can check to see? Because sometimes I think that when I check to see if I'm truly giving, I was going to say, sometimes I go, well, I'm giving enough. I don't know. Is that, that's a good question. Truly giving.
Interestingly enough, we're talking about giving money. Can I tell on you?
Yeah.
Interesting enough, in giving of our finances and stuff, it's very funny because Robyn is extremely giving person in a lot of ways, and obviously way giving in relationship. And she's perfectly willing to give in terms of supporting organizations and et cetera that she's involved in.
And presence.
And giving in her time and her effort and her money, all those things. But when she gets a little bit more money than she's had in a while, she starts to really go, oh, I don't know. She always looks to me to like, how much should we give? Because there's just something in her that kind of goes, whoop, I'm a little scared of giving here. And I don't know what that is or what it means. It's just an interesting thing.
It's not, it's here. So you want to know what it is? I'll tell you. It's not that I'm scared of giving. I'm more discerning when I have money. When I don't have money, I'm like totally in principle. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'll get more money. More money will come. If I'm giving to somebody, I'm like, they don't have money. Here, take it. Here's more. Here's money. Don't worry about it. But when I have money, I go, huh, how can I really give and support in a different way? So it doesn't come from, I mean, maybe that's fear. I don't want to think about it and analyze it right now, but I don't think of it as fear. It's a different, I don't know, some different muscle clicks in.
Now, does that happen in partnership in terms of time and people?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because I was just thinking about, when I feel good, when I feel like I'm empowered, how do I show up? Do I try to be more discerning? And in a certain way, I guess I must say that I do, because I'm also more focused on what's important. And so I can see where sometimes when we're in a partnership and we're really evaluating what is the balance I need to have here, it may shift how we're giving, how we're doing things in that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And John says, honesty shows me where I'm being small in giving. While that may be true, I just want to say, people, that this man has never been small in giving. This is someone who shows up, and besides the fact that he is the gift, because he's a joyous, lovable, amazing human being, he comes with gifts. He comes with gifts for your neighbors, your friends, somebody he's met once. He is always giving. And that's just the technical stuff. He's always present. He's always willing to be there for you. If you need a prayer, if you need a shoulder to cry on, if you need an ear to listen, he's the guy. So I would love to hear what on earth makes him think he's small in his giving. Anyway, that's our John. So I just, it's, and that's interesting, because how do we perceive ourselves too? Mm-hmm. And I mean, and it's totally true. For him, he may be small in giving somewhere, but I haven't seen it. So anyway, that is it's just an interesting thing.
Courtney agrees, John. You're a big giver.
She says, I ditto. This man is never small in giving. He is the love guy. Love in all capitals.
But I think this brings us to another interesting thought, and that is, can you overgive? If we're talking about balanced partnerships, is it possible to be in a situation where you're giving too much and depleting yourself somehow?
Well, and that brings us back to balance.
Right.
So how do you keep the balance?
How do you maintain it? How do you look at it? How do you keep it going? Can we really give into our relationships and serve our partners in terms of who we're working with at the time? Or And I think the question is, when we feel like perhaps we're over giving or it's unbalanced, do we go back to ourselves first and evaluate where we are and where our balance is personally and what our story is we're running, or do we put it off onto someone else, onto the another person in the partnership?
So good questions. And so is the key, well, once again, it's the key is finding the balance in yourself, right? So how do you do that? And I mean, beyond, meditation and the things that we know about, like, how do you really keep yourself in check?
So I'd like to ask people out there, particularly those that are able to comment, we'd love to hear from you. What do you do to maintain your balance?
Yeah. And
what are some pointers some of the rest of us might benefit from?
And I'm trying to God bless you, John. I don't want to call you out, but I know that you're in a challenging situation and something that could be very stressful, especially in a pandemic where, like Gil said, one gets locked in with their chosen group of family and friends and whatever, and how do you make sure that your needs are being met?
So John says, actually make sure that we're accepting what the universe is giving us. So he's seen many who give a lot and refuse what they are being given. Wow, that's powerful. How often have we, and particularly in a partnership of some kind, where we have refused to receive? And how does that affect us? I mean, I've seen that too, John, and I've made it a point to both give and receive, because my receiving is part of my gift, and it also reaffirms that I'm worth receiving.
And John says it goes back to Robyn saying, "Am I worthy? Does not one need to feel worthy to receive?"
Do we have to feel worthy to receive? Is that what you think?
No, I don't think that. And I think we have to feel worthy to accept.
Okay.
And I say that because I mean, yes, I believe that, but it's just a slight shift. Yeah. Because somebody can, I mean, you here in the family, I know, there's days where boys are trying to love up on me and be all, lovey, and I'm not always in that place. But did I not? I mean, so I can't take it in, but I'm aware it's there, but I can't necessarily always embody it. Or, if people bring gifts and they leave them on your doorstep, you may refuse them, but they still come.
Well, they still come, but yeah, do you actually accept them and receive them, I guess, is the thing. And going back to what John said, that that you need to feel worthy, I think there are certain points where giving to someone allows them to access that place where they do feel worthy. However, if on a continual, if you're not on that plane, if you're not moving toward that place of accepting yourself and feeling worthy, it does become really hard. And not accepting the gifts just perpetuates that thing, because then you feel like you're not somehow equal in a partnership. I've been with people where I really felt like I wasn't their equal. And so that made me feel less stuff. It was out of balance. And it wasn't because of them, it was because of how I felt in it.
Absolutely. Welcome, Kent.
Hey,
Kent says balance is the key, easy to overgive and not allow myself to receive.
Yep, that's a thing. That's a thing. It sometimes is easy to overgive. And probably the overgiving is less about really overgiving than that you're not filled up by the receiving. Just a thought. Maybe the giving would feel more balanced if you could really receive what was coming back or what is coming into your life. And I think that's another piece with partnership, with any kind of relationship. It doesn't all come from the same place. We can get, the thing about pay it forward. We get input from places. We get gifts. We get things that support us and buoy us. And we may not give directly into that, but we're giving somewhere. We're giving into the universe, if you will. Since we're all one, we're giving to somewhere. And that's where the key is. So some basic thoughts about staying in balanced relationship. And these are really simple. I found, what's her name? Les Rose Emery says that there's 4 basic things. They are, you need to communicate, you need to accept disagreement, you need to find your unique balance, and you need to be authentically you. And I think that's part of what we're talking about in that receiving. Can I be authentically who I am in this relationship? Can I accept disagreement? You ever had a disagreement and then thought, oh my gosh, how can we work together? How can we be together? How can we do things together?
Well, worse than that, have you thought they don't like me?
Yeah.
Yeah, which just, oh no, they don't like me now. And that throws everything off. That's my go-to.
They don't like me.
I don't think anyone likes me.
And yet everyone likes you. Well, almost.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
But I mean, I think accepting disagreement, I think accepting it, I don't read that as, you just go, oh, well, we're always going to disagree. But to accept the fact that sometimes you are going to disagree, and sometimes disagreement is really about the opportunity to move somewhere new for anybody involved in the partnership.
Absolutely. So John says, this reminds me of Foundations, which is a class. He says, as in, I'm raising my consciousness to see I'm simply facilitating God's love in various forms to other beloveds, my husband, best friends, doing the show, or whoever God loves.
Yes. We're always up leveling, moving to that place where we are seeing everything as part of the universe, which is for us, not against us. Would you say?
Absolutely. Well, and I think, it plays into a statement by Nicholas Sparks that says, relationship is about forgiveness and compromise. It's about balance where one person complements each other. And I think, yeah.
So what's that about? Where does complementing the other one show up? How does that work in terms of a partnership? How does one complement the other, whether it's in business or personal?
Interesting. If I had my psychology degree, I would say it's interesting that you went to complement as opposed to compromise.
Oh, well, that's a whole nother issue.
Show.
But there you are, beautiful. Oh, that was not the compliment you meant.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, but so okay. So, what was your question?
Well, where like how good are we at accepting that someone else or a partner can be way better than us at certain things, or have a gift for certain things, or have an interest in certain things that we don't. And then we can allow that to happen alongside our having perhaps some other gift or interest that we pursue. And the balance between the two, they complement one another. They're not the same, they're not equal, but they are complementary. And it creates the whole of what's in the partnership.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't hear it like that, because for me, the order of forgiveness, compromise, and complement, I think of, in order to allow forgiveness, generally there's a compromise. And in being able to compromise, I mean, I see it like the scale. It's like, if I weigh in one place, it complements you because it balances the scale.
Right. There's equity.
Yeah. Is that what you just said in some other words?
Probably.
Oh.
Close.
Okay. Well, I didn't get it like that because I didn't hear it like that. Because I think that really, I think we complement each other just in our willingness to slide in and do things that we don't always want to do, or just it's like putting a puzzle together and realizing that you're the piece that fits there. It's like you just keep moving along like that, as opposed to going, what? I don't fit there,
Or going, I'm really tired of doing this. I always have to do this. And I've said that a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is usually that's just because, frankly, it's usually something that I enjoy more. And I have, I know enough about it that it's easier for me to participate in, particularly with, you talk about things around the house. It's like, it's just, certain things that are just easier for me to do. And so for me to get worked up about how somehow it's not equal, we're not in partnership, it's not balanced. No, because there's plenty of other stuff going on that I don't even see. How much do I not see? Because I'm, whenever you're in a partnership, what is it you don't even see? You can't witness it because you're so blocked into your own stuff.
Ooh, that's deep.
That is kind of deep, huh?
But apparently you were deep a minute ago when you said, John says, Gil's point about equity is profound. That's key, isn't it, to moving in a complementary way?
Mm. Thank you, John. And on that note, I think this is a good place to take a break. It's a good place to just take a few moments. We are loving you today. We are rocking the love here on the New Thought Media Network.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
Hello, we're back. I'm Robyn
And I'm Gil, and this is Rockin' the Love.
here on New Thought Media Network.
And our theme this week is balanced partnership. And we have had a fun time just chatting about that, about some of the things that go into a balanced partnership.
Yeah, and we appreciate all of your comments.
And some really good ones.
So Michelle says, I think we almost have to assume that there's a divine energetic balance in a partnership to fully experience it. It's not all about doing this, what we can see.
So it's not all about doing this. Absolutely, Michelle. There's so much more than what we're doing in a relationship. It's how we're being, how we're showing up, how we're forgiving, how we're taking care of a lot of things, how we are in our own, as we've said 1,000 times already today, how we are in our own relationship with our spiritual relationship, our relationship with ourselves, with our understanding of God, with our understanding of who we are and how we function in the world.
And I want to say, I know for me, I'm thinking about back to when we met, and it's also in
You remember that?
the space that we hold for each other. Sometimes it's best to just ignore your partner. But it's also in the space that we hold for each other, because I remember when we met and you had whatever feelings you had about, can you do this? Could you do that? You know, coming out of your other relationships and all of those things. But I had to hold the space for you, knowing that I knew who you were. I could see the good in you. I could see the strength in you. I could see the courage, whatever, all of those fantastic qualities that make you you. When you couldn't see them, you know, which is,
I think, kind of part of what Michelle's getting at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's being with the truth of what is and really knowing that. And that is sometimes hard in a relationship, because that's what I can know all I want, how, you know, calm and peaceful and serene you are. But if you're yelling and screaming because you're not feeling, you know, in that space, it's work to stay anchored in the other.
Anchored in the love, anchored in that space of knowing. And so I think that, frankly, I think that's a really good thing to take out this week. And that is to, and we think about balanced relationship, think about balanced partnerships, and think about the opportunities you have to see the best in others, to see the truth of who they are, even when they're not living up to it, even when they're not standing in it themselves. Because I know for me, that is, as Robyn described, that allowed me to move through a lot of stuff, because when I couldn't see it, someone else did. And I think that's the thing with balanced partnership, that there have been those times, although more rare, when I have done some of that for Robyn. And, you know, when you're in a relationship, there's times when the scales are moved a little bit one way and time when they're moved the other. And that doesn't mean you're out of balance. It just means the balance isn't static.
It means you're on the swing.
Ooh.
The swing of life. And we're going to talk all about that. So join us this month, where we're going to focus a lot on love. And but we've got all kinds of things coming up, surprises and bonuses and gifts, and
we're going to give people stuff from here.
We're going to give people stuff from here.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we were. Everybody gets a car. No. Okay. We're not doing Oprah. Okay.
All right. And so
enough
of the comedy. He will be here all week. So be grateful that we're only once a week with you. All right. So thank you so much. And I'm going to leave you with this thought that we will explore later. But if you want to do great things, striving for balance is a losing game. Ooh.
Wait a minute. Do we have to erase the whole show? What happened there?
No. Okay, so ponder that. And we'll talk about why we don't have to erase the whole show and how that fits in. And we'll see you next week on New Thought Media Network. Rock the love, y'all.
Again, this is Robyn and Gil, and we have been rocking the love with you today, and we look forward to doing it again next week. Wednesdays, noon Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain.
Thank you.